Two officers working in the Sebastian County Detention Center right up here in Fort Smith, Arkansas, were stabbed by a convicted murderer named John Cole on May the 9th, 2025. And I have the full video to show you the entire incident. And I will weigh in on certain policy issues and other things about the jail because I spent too many years of my life inside that very jail. Hello, welcome to Convict Inc. I'm your host, Robert Rosso. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. If you like this video, please push like and share it with your friends, enemies, neighbors, etc. Good morning. It is Wednesday, June the 11th, 2025. Earlier than I should be. I should be still sleeping. Slept a few hours, decided to stay up and just roll with it. So I'm going to show you the video. First, I do want to say this. I spent, that jail was open in 1994, 1995, right at the end of 94. When it was brand new, I was taken from the Arkansas Department of Corrections because I had a hot check charge pending that was, my ex-wife closed my account, but I had to get taken from when I was released from custody to there and deal with those charges and also face a California extradition hearing, which I was in let out on parole. I spent a month up there then. 2 months after getting out, I went back on a violation and spent 7 months, 20 days in that jail. And then in 1997, August the 12th, I stayed in there for 15 months while I was fighting trial before I got my life sentence. When I was there was 3 general population pods. So units, we call them pods up there. There's BB pod, which is in this video, BC and CD. I was in all of them. You will see in this first clip I'm going to show you where the whole incident took place. You'll see it, a cell that says BB6. I lived in that cell for a month or so after assaulting staff. This is how that's all set up, okay? So in the front of each pod, there's a gate or a door. There's a vestibule, okay, where inmates walk through. Then there's a sliding gate that's open from control, and the inmates go in. There's a general population unit, and then you got your cells, okay? To the left, in between that vestibule, there is what you guys are seeing in this first clip. 2 cells. There are 2 bunks. This is a SEG unit or an administrative unit or a protective custody unit, but let's just call it, I'll say different names. It's SEG. I need to note here that in a different news report, I think the sheriff was saying that this guy, John Cole, who did the stabbing, should have never been allowed in this jail, that he's a supermax inmate, and they're not prepared for supermax inmates in that jail. Newsflash, a lot of high profile, or not high profile, high power inmates have been in that jail that I know. Violent guys, murderers. So I don't know where that's coming from. I do know the policies that they totally ignored, and I can point them out in this video, and I will. I need to note that the Sebastian County Jail is rife with corruption. Sorry, Captain Dumas. Rife with corruption. Jailers getting fired. There was jailers bringing me drugs when I was in. Fentanyl overdoses here recently, and it's just shoddy and tore up. I was there in January 24, just for we had to make a pit stop there before they brought me up to Fayetteville when I got my violation, and it's just tore up from the floor up, overcrowded, nasty, terrible. Staff morale's down. The jailers look like cookie monsters. It was just terrible, right? Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll this first part, and what you're seeing is in the SEG area, 2 cells and BP pod.
This is where the attack happened that you're about to see. In total, it lasts right around 30 seconds. It nearly cost one detention center deputy his life. And the other deputy says in his more than 20 years with the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office, it's the worst attack that he's ever experienced.
Okay. So, in the next clip, it's going to show the officers, 2 officers doing rounds. Now, this guy, John Cole, was serving time in Arizona for murder, was then brought back to Sebastian County Jail to face another murder charge, and he was placed in this SEG unit for everyone's safety, whatever. These officers were doing rounds when this incident occurred, doing inmate cell checks. That's just basically doing a round, okay? There's 2 big problems right here, okay? Number 1, people that live in those SEG unit, that pod, are only supposed to be allowed out an hour a day. And that means from their cell, the door opens, and in the day room area, okay? There's a shower, phone, table. Sometimes you can get them to bring you to the outside yard, whatever. They are not supposed to be around other inmates. It's important. I have no idea why, if you have an inmate like this guy, that's supposed to be supermax inmate, right? High custody inmate. Why are they in physical contact with him without restraints? That door, BB6, has a tray slot or a bean slot. Proper protocol, policy, procedure would be that inmate is locked behind that door. When they move him, even when he's allowed out in the day room, they cuff him up first, let him out of the cell. They then walk to the front door, shut the door, open up the bean slot, uncuff him, then he's free in the day room. He can't be around any officers. They don't do cell checks while he's out in his day room hour or whatever. What was going on here? I have no idea, man. I have no idea. The officer that is hurt the worst, you guys will talk about it and see it. He should be filing lawsuits on that. Anyway, I'll play that now and you guys can see caught doing the key card.
It was definitely a life or death situation. We were just lucky. I stepped to this side, and then he come running out at Deputy Marr with his shank in his hand.
This surveillance video from inside the Sebastian County Detention Center on May 9th shows Deputy Jacob Marr and Lieutenant Brandon McCaslin doing routine inmate checks. But what happens next is anything but routine.
So you see what I am saying. Again, if you have somebody that's high custody inmate, problem, whatever, murder, just wants to kill everybody still, they're always supposed to be in restraints with a 2-man, 2-officer hold. He mentions the 2-officer hold, but I'm talking about they're supposed to be in restraints anytime they're around an officer. And I also want to say that this guy said, Lieutenant McCaslin, what is it? He said that it was the worst incident in the jail he's ever seen. I've seen some guards get beat up. I didn't do a bad job until they maced me. But I seen a guy named Dirty Low mess one up, but not with a weapon, not with a knife, okay? All right, you guys are about to see the attack. Go.
Already convicted of murder in Arizona, John Cole comes out of his cell armed with a dagger and attacks the 2 deputies. You can see Lieutenant McCaslin trying to keep his distance as Cole keeps moving in. Deputy Marr radios for help and jumps in to try and stop Cole. The video does not play continuously, but you can see the weapon in Cole's hand as he attacks Deputy Marr. The struggle continues as the deputies cornered Cole. Other deputies rushed to help, but not before the 2 deputies were stabbed multiple times.
3 puncture wounds on my shoulder and 2 up here.
You can see Deputy Marr walking out of frame. Seconds later, everyone realized just how badly he was injured. Marr was stabbed 4 times, including to the neck and side, puncturing his aorta and collapsing a lung.
He was in surgery for almost 4 hours. He would have bled out if circumstances were different, but luckily for him, the good Lord was on his side, and the wound clotted, and he was it didn't bleed as fast as it could have bled.
Marr is recovering, and McCaslin was back to work 2 days later.
One of the things that I want to say is that the officers, first of all, I'm grateful. I'm glad that neither one of them died, because they easily could have. Second, they actually did the right thing here. They did the wrong thing. Policy procedure was out the window. Door open. Was there 2 doors open? The other cell, I don't know if anybody was in the other cell. I can see it on my laptop. I don't know why they were in contact with him like that, with him out, not in restraints. Next, the lieutenant and his deputy, they did the right thing by fighting this guy back. I have seen so many officers run when a knife comes out. Shit their pants and run. I have seen the Bloods and the Muslims, I think it was DC Muslims, go after each other in Leavenworth. I forgot what Muslims it was, but anyway, stab the shit out of each other. All the officers get out of the way. Here comes one female, save the day, tackles them. Got to fight back. And I just noticed something right now. Why do they not have stab vests on? They don't wear them in the jail. Bet you they're going to start, which are really uncomfortable. But anyway, that's part of being a correctional officer. All right, so they did the right thing. I want to give them that. And let's go into this weapon next.
According to the case file, the weapon Cole used was a sharpened piece of metal from a mop bucket. Cole was being held in Sebastian County awaiting trial for murder. He pleaded guilty to that charge and 2 attempted murder charges for the attack on the deputies. Cole was sentenced to a total of more than 400 years in prison.
From a convict's perspective, beautiful piece. The weapon was absolutely beautiful. I believe it was from that mop bucket. He absolutely had help from a different inmate. I will say that there are media reports that this guy, this high-profile inmate, that's a threat to everybody, was allowed out the front door of this seg unit, in between the vestibule, and they'd open the gate. He'd get to go walk around in the BB pod, where he gets to go cell to cell and see people, and you can pass stuff. Also, he was in BB6. In BB8, which is the next cell over, there is a wall. That wall on the other side is general population. In the back of that wall, it is cinder block. There were cracks that big, you can slide shit back and forth all day. Don't know how it is now. I know in BC pod, we're passing newspapers. For sure you can get that pick through it, 100%. So I'm not really sure, but I would bet that's the case. But again, at the end of the day, we got one officer still recuperating. He wants to go back to be a deputy jailer. He wants to work with the sheriff's office. He'll probably get it. I'm looking at the mop bucket now. He'll probably get promoted, and maybe he should. Okay, fought back, and but maybe he should look into filing a lawsuit about all the absent procedures and policies all the procedures and policies that were not, were just totally ignored, as are so many policies and procedures in the state of Arkansas. And I wanted to say this before we close. I just believe that incarceration in general in this country, just something really big and just huge, like game changer has to happen, but it's not going to happen in my lifetime. I wish we can take some of the European models that have treat inmates like shit, and it's not like the guard mentality, like we'll beat you. But in our culture in America today, we can't. Our culture's too fucked up. Anyway, side note, I'm dingy tired. A few hours of sleep last night. Long day ahead. Take care.
I've replayed it in my head thousands of times. A knife fight or a shank fight, you're going to get hurt. Period. The end. I mean, it's just, what are you going to do? Are you going to just roll over and let him kill you or are you going to fight back? And we both chose to fight back, which is what saved it.